We're going to this is a warm up on projectile motion, and we're going to talk about just a few facts so that you kind of know some things so that hopefully this is all a review and none of this is really new. So we're going to go through it and just so you can get some notes here. Okay. So what is the shape of a path of an object experiencing projectile motion? Well, we know we've talked about that, and the shape of the path is parabolic. Okay, and that should be a term that kind of comes from math. It's a mathematical term. So the shape of path of an object experiencing projectile motion is a parabola. It sort of looks like that, right? Okay, what's the initial velocity in the vertical direction of an object falling from rest? Okay, so any object falling from rest, like a horizontal projectile, like falling like this down to the floor, is going to be zero, right? If an object is falling from rest, what's its initial velocity going to be in the vertical direction? It's always going to be zero. Okay, what is the acceleration in a vertical direction of an object experiencing projectile motion? Well, it doesn't really matter whether it's this doesn't matter whether it's a horizontal projectile or a projectile that goes up and forward and back down. If it's an object, if it's an object in projectile motion, it's in free fall, and in the vertical direction, the acceleration is going to be g. It's going to be little g. It's going to be minus 9.8 meters per second squared. Always, from the beginning until the end, the acceleration in the vertical direction will always be that. So a lot of these things are like what I would call givens, things that are always true. Okay, so the initial velocity of an object an object in the vertical direction of an object falling from rest, like a horizontal projectile, is going to be zero. The acceleration in the vertical direction of an object experiencing projectile motion is going to be minus 9.8. So what is the acceleration in the horizontal direction for an object experiencing projectile motion? Well, in the horizontal direction, the velocity in the horizontal direction, Vx, I'll say, is constant. Okay, so if it's constant, then since velocity isn't changing, acceleration is zero. Okay, what's the one word that describes the horizontal velocity of an object experiencing projectile motion? Well, I've kind of told you that word. The word is constant. Okay, it is constant. Okay. Okay, these are all givens. These are things that are always true. Okay, in projectile motion, is the vertical and horizontal acceleration the same? Well, no. Okay, in the horizontal is zero, and the vertical is minus 9.8. They're never the same. No, never. Okay. Okay. In projectile motion, are the vertical and horizontal initial velocities the same? Well, no. The initial vertical velocity is going to always be zero. The horizontal velocity is imparted by the launcher. Okay, and it's going to be positive. It's going to be forward. Okay, so the answer is no. Okay, this is going to be forward or to the right or something like that. And it's going to be a positive. Typically, it's going to be a positive number. Okay, positive forward to the right, something like that. Okay. In projectile motion, is the vertical and horizontal final velocity the same? No. No, not at all. They're going to be different. In projectile motion, is the vertical and horizontal displacement the same? Nope, doesn't have to be. The vertical and horizontal displacements can be significantly different. You can have a high projectile that has a big vertical displacement and a small horizontal displacement, or you can have a long horizontal displacement and a very short vertical one. Okay, in projectile motion, is the vertical and horizontal change in time the same? Yes. The time it takes for the velocity for the projectile to go up and back down is the same as it takes for the projectile to go forward. So when the projectile lands, goes up, back down, lands here, the same time has passed going up and down as the time it takes to go out. So the answer to this is yes.